Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to talk about faction warfare, and faction warfare is getting a huge major change in the upcoming update called Call to Arms. As many of you know, faction warfare has been in the game for quite a while now. In this system, players can sign up for one city faction and go fight on behalf of their city against enemy faction NPCs and players. They can capture outposts and earn faction points to spend on faction rewards. You might think now, how are they going to make this system better? And I have exactly the answer for you, because the developers, they came with 4 golden points on how they can make this better. So the first one is accessible and inclusive for all players on the Royal Continent. So basically making it sure that everyone can join on the Royal Continent. The second one point they have is meaningful incentives for loyalty to a city. The third one is exciting large-scale battle that are easy to join and reward participation. And 4 and the last one is supporting existing faction warfare players and ensuring their current follow system is continued and improved. Those are the 4, you can say, bullet points for how they're gonna make sure that this update, revamp, whatever you call it, is making sure that it's going to be so fun still. But you're probably thinking, okay, that's 4 very empty promises. How can you please elaborate on what the developers mean? And yes, because they have actually opened up a lot more about what these points are all about. So the first one, the accessible and inclusive. Faction warfare in yellow and blue regions is now non-lethal, so new players can engage with the futures without losing their gear. This is one of the bullet points that is saying why this is making it easier for everyone to join, because now people who doesn't like to go to full loot zones and just want to be in those zones where even if you die, you don't lose your gear, you just respawn. This makes sure that faction warfare is now only full loot in red zones, but in yellow and blue you don't lose any gear. This is a big upgrade for faction warfare, because before faction warfare you would actually lose gear in any zone, even if it was a blue, yellow, green, blue, yellow or red zone. But now blue and yellow is non-lethal, so you can play with safety and your gear will not be lost. Faction warfare in red zones remains lethal though, so that means in red zones you still lose gear. Increased number of red zones is going to be in the world, so they haven't exactly said how this is going to happen. Are they going to remove yellow zones? Are they going to remove blue zones, or are they just adding more zones? But they say there's going to be more red zones, so it will be more fair, as you can say. Red zones also have higher value faction points targeted for advanced players, and basically that means, of course, red is going to be more risky with the full loot, but it's also going to be the reward worthy. The second point they have was faction loyalty. So enlistment and flagging up is a now 2-step process. Step 1, enlist with a faction to become a permanent member. Step 2, actively flag up to actually fight on their behalf. Because if you before joined a faction, you would be fighting for them all the time, and that means every time another faction came and killed you, you will lose your gear. It was kind of like you go in or you don't go in. It's like you cannot get out. But now you can choose. If you choose to unflag, you will still remain enlisted. As long as you remain enlisted, you will keep your rank and other advantages, incurring loyalty to a chosen faction. So that basically means you can now flag in, flag out of this faction system, but still you have to pick a city you're gonna be faction with, and it sounds like it's gonna be a permanent faction. So if you're gonna go with, let's say, the mountain, the snowy faction, you're gonna be with them, and it sounds like it's gonna be permanent, but I assume the developers is gonna give us a bit more details about that if it's really gonna be permanent. The third point they have is large scale battles, and what they're gonna make better is it's gonna let new players gain their first experience in open world warfare, while veteran players can participate during periods of low guild activity. Also, it focuses on bringing opposing factions into a conflict via a front line where large battles occur frequently and players can easily join. To achieve this, they made regions of the world map conquerable. To conquer a region, a faction needs to control and hold the majority of outposts within it. Controlling a region allows you to push the front line further towards the enemy while protecting your own regions. In yellow and blue regions, player knocked out can rejoin the battle from a nearby friendly outpost, so retaining control of the outpost is critical. Should a region get separated from the rest of your regions, you will no longer be able to respawn there and cutting you off from the reinforcements. Players can use this to advantage by capturing regions strategically and breaking an enemy supply line. So basically, big battles, you can now control the map. You can now control the map, like it's gonna show on the map who's owning these territories. So now people on the royal continent is gonna fight over who has most zones, and it's gonna be like faction versus faction and no guilds. Guilds doesn't matter now, it's just factions. Of course, still in Outland you still have guilds and all that, but here it's just factions. But it's really cool that how you can like conquer zones and like strategically kill the bond between two zones and so on. It sounds really cool. The fourth one, the last one, they have the faction rewards. Players will still be rewarded in faction points, which they can spend at their faction store. Earn points by capturing outposts and hold zones. The value of capturable objectives increase over time, offering an incentive to push enemy behind enemy lines. Players are also rewarded for defense, as a region generates more points the longer they are held. In addition to immediate rewards, a weekly report sums up your performance and rewards additionally points based on personal and overall faction success. I really love that point that every week there's going to be a report telling you how good you did your job, and then it will going to give you some more points, like saying you did awesome, here, more points. Really cool. Some additional notes. Red zone give the same rewards but in much greater amount. So basically means yellow, blue, red zones faction warfare is going to give the same rewards, but red zone is going to give more. And also, with no respawning at outposts in red zones, players will have to maneuver carefully and strategically. In blue and yellow zones, you're going to respawn when you die close to your base. You know, it's going to be easy for you to run to the battle again. But in red zones, you don't respawn. You have to get to that zone again, and it's going to be a big loss if you're like half of your team is going to die, because yeah, you're going to be screwed. But that's the cool thing about this. In addition to generating much higher reward, the red zones will have an enemy to be announced soon. Well, have a new enemy. So that basically means in the new patch, next update, they are going to add another enemy that is going to be on the map. It's going to be like a faction of enemies. We have only seen, it looks like it's going to be some kind of pirate enemy. You know, our pirate. But we don't really know. It's just what we have seen. And in the trailer, the news trailer they made, they're just teasing like 2 seconds of a guy who looks like a pirate. But still, it looks promising and pretty cool. Can't wait for it. So that was just a quick summary of what the new faction warfare system is going to be in Albion Online. So if you're looking for big battles, no full load, big battles without having to join a guild, this is the update you have been waiting for. And personally myself, I have been waiting on this update for so long. I can't wait to get on hands with big battles without having to join a guild and all that. Just randomly pop in and help your faction with conquering the world. Doesn't it sound amazing? So thanks for watching, everyone. See you in another video. And I don't know when this update is coming out. It's a very big update, so they're also going to make additionally posts about all the things, because it's going to be a lot of things to talk about. But who knows, maybe we're gonna get this update in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Let's wait and see. But thanks for watching, have a nice evening everyone, and see you in another episode. Bye.